What was that? Did you hear that? Hi, I'm Awesome Joe, and I'm back. Thanks guys for watching my videos. You guys are a great inspiration to me, and since it's October, I'm taking the opportunity to start watching and reviewing a lot of horror movies. And another little thing that I started doing now, I just came up with it today because a good friend of mine actually got me into a new thing called Snapchat. So I'm on Snapchat. If you guys want to go ahead and join me as I do my my video reactions towards me watching the movies, go ahead and find me on Snapchat under Awesome Joe's Awesome Movie Snapchat reaction videos, and I'll be there if you guys want to join me and see how I react towards these movies. It's a lot of fun. I did not know how Snapchat worked in the first place, so thanks a lot to all the ones that introduced it to me. I'm very happy with the app, and I've been exploring a lot more towards it. So I want to go ahead and get started on having to do my movie reviews regarding towards some of the movies that I felt that were a little bit too scary, and some that didn't really catch my drift. So let's go ahead and get started with the first one that I really feel like it didn't really gain too much of my interest, which is Ouija. So Ouija is based on the traditional board game, not a game actually, but a board, let's just say board game back from the 1960s that was introduced to us back then, and it's a little fun type of thing to where it gets all of us introduced into a certain way of interacting with the spiritual world, and so this one is based in our modern time, and this one didn't really gain too much of my interest. It felt very much on a low profile, one that I would just watch one time and then the next day would completely forget. It's an okay movie. I did have a couple of jump scares, but otherwise the movie didn't really seem that interesting to me. It's really what you would call your average teenage type of movie, coming of age type of thing. You get a couple of teenagers who are very curious people who get themselves involved into this very strange and dangerous predicament after having one of their friends who presumably have committed a suicidal attempt, but which was the Ouija board who took in the action of that. So it brings all these teenagers together and having to find out as to what they can do to stop this terror that they have awoken before it decides to kill all of them within that time. So the movie isn't really that interesting for me. I mean, I can really understand as to where it gains people's a lot of interests and expertise into this whole entire genre, but this movie is an okay movie. I really don't feel up for it as much as how many others would. So Ouija, I would go ahead and give it a 2.7 out of 10. It is a fantastic movie, and I'm really okay with it. I'm really looking forward to having to review the second movie of this Ouija franchise. So tune in for that as I go down the list here. So let's go ahead and move on to our next video that I will go ahead and be reviewing for this evening. The Boy. And The Boy stars Miss Lauren Cohan, and if you guys are very familiar with her and her work, she co-stars in the hit AMC TV show The Walking Dead, and she does a brilliant job of playing the character Maggie in The Walking Dead. And as you well know also, that she does do a little bit of a performance in Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice as Bruce Wayne's mother, Martha Wayne. But her in this movie, I believe that Miss Cohan having to break through her performance into film isn't really a great breakthrough. She's a brilliant actress. She's very attractive, very gorgeous. But when it comes to having a breakthrough in this movie, I don't think that she did very well within this movie. Like I said, she's a very brilliant actress. I think that she can do better. But otherwise, within this movie, I don't think so. But anyways, this movie is about Miss Cohan, who is brought into this mansion house for work, to work as a nanny, a house sitter per se. And so what she does is it's not only taking care of the house, but also taking care of a boy, not just any ordinary boy, but a doll boy. And so it gets you a little bit creeped out by the whole thing. Why? Because if it was me and if I was introduced to something that I was going to be taking care of, which is a doll, right away I would be like, excuse my language, but fuck this. I am out the door. I do not care how much you guys pay me. I am not doing this at all whatsoever. Bye. And I think that that's something that she would have done as well too. But of course, this is just a movie, and what would be a scary movie if she did not take the job and deal with the challenges that she were to be going through throughout the film. So there's a couple bit of boring moments when it becomes between her and this other individual man that she interacts with throughout the movie. I do get bored throughout those moments, because really the only moments that are very interesting throughout the film is when we get to see the portrayal of what the doll does within the whole entire movie. And there is a huge plot twist at the end that makes you believe the movie to be a huge turnover, and not in a good way. It is a bad turnover for me. Because you would think that throughout the whole entire movie it would be dealing with one situation, but yet it turns itself into something else. It turns out from being a horror movie that would jump scare you throughout the whole time, and then at the end it kind of turns out more to be like a Lifetime movie, you know, like one of those women type of movies on the Women channel. That's what it felt like for me, and it kind of drew me out throughout the whole thing. I understood what they were trying to do, but they didn't really capture what they were trying to do. So that's the way I feel about The Boy. It was a great movie. There was a lot of jump scares to the movie. I don't like dolls. I grew up with dolls. My mother, she's a huge doll collector, and having to grow up with those things scared the living shit out of me. So dolls, no way in hell, which is why I give this rating a little bit higher than Ouija, a 4.9 out of 10. So it's a great movie. I recommend you guys go and watch it if you guys feel like having to watch something that'll give you a couple of jump scares. But otherwise, that's my rating for The Boy. Now let's go ahead and jump onto the final movie that I find very, very intriguing, and something that really scared the lights out of me, which is Ouija, Origin of Evil. So yeah, this movie really scared the living shit out of me. I honestly thought that I wasn't gonna like this movie at all, but compared to having to watch the first movie, like I said, really didn't capture my interest at all. But this one here, as much as I felt like it wasn't going to gain my interest at all either, it actually pulled me in more. And why is that? Because this one is actually an origin story compared to the first movie. Even though the first movie was a terrible flop for me, this one here, it actually picked up a lot of bars. Why? Because it takes place back in the late 1960s, when this board was first introduced to us, to having to play. And of course, this is a work of fiction. You know, to me personally, I don't believe in the Ouija board, and nor will I ever interact with one, because it's really not an interest of mine. But the movie itself alone, Origin of Evil, it was a movie that terrified me to death, and the fact of having to watch it by myself, it's really something that really got me off my seat. So this one takes place back in late 1960s, and so this little girl, she is possessed by this board, and so it's not discovered until later on throughout the movie, which is probably the last quarter of the film. And of course, we get a little bit of glimpses as to this child being possessed by these somewhat demons, and it's like a new level of exorcist type of thing. And this movie really terrified me a lot. There was a lot of things that really not just jump scared, but scared the living life out of me. I actually had to turn the lights on just to, just so that I don't get scared throughout the movie. So, but it's a good movie. I recommend you guys go and watch it, which is why I rate Ouija, Origin of Evil, a very high 7.7 out of 10. 7.7 is a very good rating towards a movie like this. I'm not a big fan of horror movies, but a movie like this, especially during the time of October, I would have to give it an awesome rating of a 7.7 out of 10. So that's my rating towards Ouija Origin of Evil. And I want to thank you guys so much for having to take the time to watching my videos. Like I said it before, and I'll say it again, you guys are a huge inspiration to me. It encourages me to do what I love to do, and what I love to do is to talk about movies, and especially with you guys. So and like I said before, I'm new to Snapchat, and I'm doing this new thing called Awesome Joe's Awesome Movie Snapchat. It's a long title, Snapchat. Not a review, but somewhat like that. So it's a great thing for me to do. It's a great hobby of mine. I love doing it. And if you guys love talking about movies too, please leave a comment in the section down below, and I'll be more than happy to have an awesome conversation with you guys regarding towards these movies, and plus any movies that you would love to talk about and would love to have me review for you guys. So thank you guys so much. You guys are great. Stay awesome, and I'll see you guys at the movies, and have a good one. Bye.